Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie.
I'm Jay.
I'm Mike!
There you go. Let's
Yes!
kung fu that fucker into your face.
There is a new book out called Taking Shape, Part
Not talking about duties in the toilet. We're talking about the movie Halloween.
Part 2 by Dustin McNeil. We'll put a link to the book down below because it's available for purchase right now. This book is dope as shit. As you guys know, what we do on here sometimes we do the version of the movies that never happened. We talk about sequels. That's okay. It's gonna be all right, shit.
My dick.
But we talk about sequels to Halloween movies that never happened. We break them down. There's a whole litany of these things that we've done. This book unveils several new ones that we didn't even fucking know about, man.
Have you ever thought to yourself, wow, it would have been really cool in Halloween 5 if they'd had an episode from The Secret Life of Alex Mack? Because that's almost what we fucking had. And thanks to a guy named Shim Bitterwood, I don't know, he was bitter as fuck anyway when he was writing it, so it fits. And by the way, if you put a P on that guy's last name, he'd be Shimp, which is fucking one of the Stooges, and you'd have to be a Stooge to write this piece of shit. But anyway, look, nothing against the guy, he was just trying to get $1.
So this version of Halloween 5 was called Halloween 5: The Killer Inside Me. If you remember, there was a lot of hubbub about the end of Halloween 4, where Jamie's standing there holding the knife. They wanted Halloween 5 done, but they had a rule in there, theater chains or whoever it was, they had a rule in there that if you all are going to do Halloween 5, Jamie cannot be the killer. It has to be Michael Myers.
Yeah, and they also had a really short deadline. So it was like within like a year after Halloween 4, they wanted that bitch out in theaters rolling around in the grave. And they're like, fucking hurry up! If you want that deal, if you want that guarantee, you got to get on it. Yeah. And that's what they did. And look, the script that this dude presented, thank fucking God that there is a God somewhere out there looking down and smiling, because this motherfucker got washed down with dirty diapers.
You don't want it.
This is a terrible fucking script. The only good thing and saving grace about the script that this Shimp wrote, or Shim, I think his name was Shim, that he wrote was it did showcase a lot. It did have a very cool scene or sequence in it where Michael goes to the police station and fucks up the world. Mm-hmm. And that would have been really cool to see on screen for sure. But everything else about it, I'm like, what in the fuck kind of crack did you have that day? And by the way, he also is a snooty little bitch. You know, the guy that wrote this script, because he even goes on to say that he was like, look, it was like writing a comic book. I wrote it in 3 days. What do you want from me? Yeah. Like, he says that. He said he wrote Halloween 4, the script, which they didn't even use, in a week, and he wrote Halloween 5 in 3 fucking days. He was like, it was like writing a comic book.
And he maintains throughout the whole thing, he's like, I'm a theater writer. Yeah. I'm a theater writer. I have no business doing this stuff like that.
So did you butter your breath on your own?
Automatically, I'm rubbed the wrong way a little bit by this guy, but here's the thing, like, if you don't like the psychic connection in Halloween 5 between Jamie and Michael Myers, buddy, you're not gonna like this.
Welcome to the Willy Wonka fucking factory of shit.
Oh my goodness.
Because it was all throughout this motherfucker.
It's wild, dude, the differences between these two are. So in this one, Jamie, it's completely different. Like, there was no hermit, there was no Michael going through the well, none of that shit like that. Rachel, to be fair, one of the good things about the script is that Rachel is a badass in this script.
And she's a final girl.
Yeah, she doesn't die in the beginning of this. She's a badass. She fights Michael throughout the script, a whole bunch of battles between the two of them, and she's really cool and she remains prevalent. She doesn't die in a bullshit scissor scene early in the fucking film. That is a nice thing.
And Lindsay Wallace pops up in it.
Lindsay Wallace pops up. She finds her death in the script where Michael bangs through a door with his hands. And
bang, bang, bang!
Then the next thing, bang, bang, bang the drum. Next thing you know, he takes a hot poker to my ear, and puts it through the door and kills Lindsay Wallace that way. There is a high body count in this, which I like as well. There's a lot of cops that die in this. There's a lot of cool scenes with Michael killing cops. The craziest thing about this is that Loomis actually wants to straight up kill Jamie. He sees her as the new Michael. He wants her fucking dead.
He's evil. Like, he's a bad guy. He wants to murder this little girl, and Terminator is the only option, and Michael's hunting her to kill her as well. So that's pretty interesting. And I also like the fact that it's all taking place the same night. Like, it just fucking happened. In Halloween 5, what we got was it's a year later, and Jamie is in a psych ward trying to deal with what happened, a psychological breakdown. In this one, Jamie is still suffering from a psychological breakdown, but then you throw this bitch telekinesis, psychic powers. It's like fucking watching Dark Phoenix from X-Men fucking figure out whether or not she's a bad guy or a good guy. Immediately I was like, this is Saturday morning cartoon bullshit. Yeah. And look, I do appreciate that Rachel was given more credence in Halloween 5. She was a fan favorite in Halloween 4 for good reason. She was a great actress. She was a great character. And they have her lasting throughout the entire flick. But the problem with the script is, though, overall, what I was like, I got, like, my face started slowly morphing into George C. Reilly, that meme when he's going, like that meme? when I got to the part where it literally is copying fucking everything from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, 5, and whatever else they had not come up with at that point. Because that's what it is. It's literally like, and again, the guy wrote it in 3 days, but he's cashing in on all the tropes that are popular at the time. It was coming out in '89, right? So he's like, all right, well, what's popular? The Nightmare on Elm Street series is doing really well. The Friday the 13th series is doing well. High body count, lots of gore, some nightmarish fucking sequences, and then we got a fucking hit. The big problem is like, and Akkad said this. Akkad said this, and this book is great, man. You got to check this book out. He said, though, he was like, why in the fuck would we want to do all these things when we had just established Michael Myers as the badass that he is in Halloween 4? You're coming in here with a goddamn big fat black dildo, putting it in my face and saying, suck it, bitch! And like, why do I want to do that? They were to take Michael and basically make him secondary, and it was all going to focus on Jamie Lee Curtis, or not Jamie, Jamie Lloyd, and then go from there. Like, Rob Zombie did this with H2, right? And it sucked asshole. Like, he didn't do it right. I get the psychological trauma and the damage, and that makes sense, but when you're adding...
They gave her superpowers.
Yeah, when you add in the, look, fuck Alice from Resident Evil, all right? I'm done with that bullshit. Take your ass back to the Fifth Element. I don't want that shit. And as soon as they do that, it loses all credibility. I'm like, you know what? It was kind of cool at first when you're saying, oh, these characters are involved. They add the new, like, cool jock. Tom is cool.
And he's basically the jock from Nightmare 5. I mean, they literally copied and pasted that.
When you go and you fart in the mouth of everybody else when they're reading it, and then you get into the...
I guess that hadn't happened yet, but you get the idea.
Yeah, but the supernatural aspects of it, it goes way beyond what Michael Myers is capable of, and then you're doing the Matrix bullshit.
Basically, to cut it down, like to just really... Because again, you gotta read the book. It really explains things in a really good fashion. It's awesome. But to cut it down, Jamie she has this psychic connection to Michael, but she also has psychic superpowers. So Rachel and Tom are trying to protect this little girl, right? And Loomis tricks them and gets them to go in another room. And then he locks the door.
I love that shit.
And then he has this cyanide-filled syringe. And he's like, come on, come over here. I want to show you something.
Well, he told her, he was like, come take your medicine. Like he
wanted to kill her.
He was so mean because it reminded me of that part in Monster Squad. He was like, give me the amulet, you bitch. And he goes, ah. Dude, this motherfucker like literally padlocked them out and had a poison-filled syringe to stick her in the fucking throat and be like, come take your medicine. So, you know, that reminded Jack Torrance.
Yeah, I can see that. And then she protrudes several versions of herself with her psychic abilities or whatever, and all of a sudden Loomis is in danger. And then Jamie, and to be fair to this idea of the script, they maintained her sweet child innocence, even though she's going through all this shit. She, even though Loomis is trying to kill her, like tells her other selves, like, please don't hurt him, don't hurt him. And in that moment, Loomis realizes that it's not her fault.
It's so corny,
he decides to try to protect her from Michael, and then he has the character flip where he's like, okay, I don't want to kill this little girl. But eventually...
Because she hugged him. Loomis had never been hugged before. He's like, oh my God, it's so sweet.
You smell like baby shampoo.
It's so sweet. I'm not going to kill you.
And there's several things that you'll see in Halloween 5 that are in this, by the way. They do go to a party, and there is a pitchfork scene. There's teens that are dying. There's a car chase scene, which is kind of cool. Obviously no Tina, which is a plus. But there's two teens that are making out in a car, and Michael goes to kill him, and he kills the driver, but the driver's in the driver's seat, so the car is moving around. And meanwhile, while this chick is trying to like dodge Michael Myers, the car runs her over several times.
That shit would have been hilarious. It kind of would have replaced the dopey ass deputies in Halloween 5.
Yes, there are things about the script better than what the dominant Ethelwyn and Gagardo ended up doing with Halloween 5. The main problem here is that when it all ends and it's all at the end of the day, not only does Jamie have super telekinetic abilities, but so does Michael. At one point, Jamie and Rachel are hiding from Michael in like a feeder, like they're in the feed.
In a grain silo.
And it's dark, so Jamie gets scared, so she goes to lift the lid, and there's 5 Michael Myers around her, because Michael Myers is basically fucking, he can make his own doppelganger.
He can
his own fucking doppelganger.
That character in X-Men or X-Force, Multiple Man.
Yeah.
It's like, anything you can do, I can do better. But and then I love the fact that the final confrontation, which by the way, this guy had it out for Donald Pleasant's character. He didn't like Loomis at all. He pretty much even said that.
No, he literally said that. He was like, I find that, like, I don't know what the exact wording was, but he said something like, I feel like that's a tired character. I was like, that's Loomis,
that's
dude.
Fucking
you know how lucky you are that he's even fucking willing to be in this movie?
That's literally the Van Helsing to the Dracula in the fucking story. You must be moronic. Yeah. But anyway, the ending that they had planned for Dr. Loomis was so final. It was over. Like, and it was so stupid though. It was so fucking dumb. Like, Michael, you know, I don't know, pops like his wiener, and there's like 16 of him, and then Loomis goes around to each one lifting the mask, and they keep disappearing. He's like, I know you're here, Michael. And then finally he finds the right one, and the script, I swear to God, it reads, it says, Dr. Loomis is as shocked when he removes the mask and sees the face that he always knew, just as Michael is as shocked that he removed the mask, and then proceeds to break his neck. So Michael didn't know he was going to fight.
Like Michael got caught trying to steal a Butterfinger from the Speedway.
Because Michael's like, I got 16 doppelgangers. This bitch never gonna find out. And then he chose the right one. And it's like that asshole on the streets of New York was like, find the number one, find the number one. And then Loomis found it out. And he went. I could just see the idea or the
Straight
vision.
Tony Moran.
It would be like one of those, like, yeah. As soon as Loomis would lift him, he'd go. Like, it would just be one of those, like, because it said that Michael was just as shocked as Dr. Loomis when he removed his mask. Because it's like, he's like, no one's seen my face before ever. And then he was like, I could just see him going. and so it says that Loomis gets his fucking neck broke, which leaves no room for any kind of interpretation that he survived. At least in the end of Halloween 5, he might have had a heart attack, or he might have just passed out from exhaustion. They gave him some room to move. In this one, it would have been done. Done.
He snaps Loomis's neck. Loomis dies right there, and then you get to the penultimate scene, whereas Tom drives a tractor through Michael or whatever. Michael somehow survives that shit, and then the next thing you know, Rachel's standing there. She gets a knife stuck into her stomach or whatever, and she thinks it's Jamie because that's what she's seeing.
Well, she was hugging Jamie.
Because everybody's playing mind games. She's like, no, not you, Jamie. No, not you. And then it turns out it's Michael.
Why not her?
He picks her up and throws her to the fucking side like coleslaw you get in a combo meal. Just fucking tosses her over like she's nothing. Rachel's over here bleeding and dying. And then the worst part of the entire script, despite all the mind games and the telekinesis and all that dumb shit, the worst part is that Jamie defeats Michael by standing there and literally doing the Nightmare on Elm Street thing, going, I'm not afraid of you, I'm not afraid of you, I'm not afraid of you. All of a sudden, Michael bursts with 1,000 knives or whatever, falls to the floor, goes back into a coma, and when they lift his mask, he's the little boy Michael Myers again, just basically passed out in a fucking coma.
I always took it that the way he looked was just like a smooth-skinned, kind of young adolescent, like 21-year-old that he always was in the original. And I think even the author was like, what happened to the burn scars? Like, where all that shit is. But, you know, the weird thing is, you know, it reminded me of The Boogeyman. Remember that movie, that bullshit movie that came out in 2002? Where it was like, all you gotta do is look at her and say, I don't believe you, bitch. Like, you're done.
They did that with Freddy, man.
They did that, and then they kind of changed, but it's like taking Michael's power away. Freddy Krueger was literally the perfect example, because Nightmare on Elm Street 1, this guy, I'm not afraid anymore, and he fucking disappears into ether. Like, this, it was so fucking stupid. And this one, it literally takes Michael Myers to a level of like goddamn genie fucking magic.
Doctor Strange.
Genie magic. That motherfucker's waving shit in the air and creating portals.
So in the end, Tom is driving Jamie away. The sunset's fading, like it's all over with. Michael Myers has been stopped. He's back in a coma. Everything's ending, and then all of a sudden the car wrecks into a tree. You find Tom with an ice pick or some shit like that in his screwdriver in his temple, and then you see Jamie walking off wearing the clown costume, and then you're right the fuck back to where you were at the end of Halloween 4 with no explanation. She was the killer, she wasn't the killer, we don't know. She's gonna be a killer, she's not, we don't know. You end up right back in the hole that they wrote you in Halloween 4, wondering if Jamie is gonna be the one that continues on with
fucking
this.
Terrible.
Awful.
No, please don't touch my heart.
I'll take the Man in Black bullshit over this
every day of the week. And not to mention the fact, you gotta remember, if this movie had come out with all this supernatural bullshit going on, Michael still wouldn't have tucked his fucking mask in, and now you'd have a shitty script with a shitty mask and not tucked in. Fucking atrocious. Look, and you know, I know that Donald Pleasance even came out and said, well, you know, even Daniel Harris was excited about it.
He wanted Daniel Harris to be the killer.
I'm like, you know what, Donald?
With respect to you,
stop
Donald,
it.
but
Stop it.
No.
You've do it as a Daniel. Right. But no, it would have been awful. And, you know, but even though Daniel Harris did recant, she's like, you know, at first I was like, it would be a good idea maybe to be Michael Myers' sidekick.
As an actress, that would be fun.
Yeah, but then she got older, she's like, that's fucking stupid. That would make no sense. And look, and that movie made no sense. It was such a cash grab, obvious fucking thing. And the guy was trying to say, he was like, well, you gotta be bold. You gotta take chances. That's what Halloween 1 did. That's what Halloween 3 did. It was taking chances. And that's what I wanted to do. And they already opened the door up with Halloween 4. I was like, no, bitch, it was a mistake. What they did with Halloween 4 was, like, it was a good movie. I liked Halloween 4. the ending, I never liked the ending. I think that the idea that Jamie somehow psychically connected to him and then is somehow sharing his disease as a killer was a terrible idea. It was an awful idea. And, you know, honestly, I think they wanted to run with it for a second because on the posters for Halloween 5, if you'll notice, she's wearing her clown costume. Yeah. She never wore it in the entire movie. That's what the book points out.
It was basically the curse of the franchise through 4, 5, and 6 that they ran into a hole. They wanted to have a shock ending for the end of their movie to really like make it staple in the Halloween franchise, but none of them did those. In 4, 5, or 6, none of them did those scenes with a thought of how the next scene's gonna be. Yeah. They thought, I'm gonna grab the audience's attention, I'm gonna make them go, oh fuck, this is crazy, what's next? Without any thought of how you're actually gonna write that next film. Yeah. And basically it's kind of damned the franchise in certain ways when you get towards those middle sequels.
Look, Halloween was so unique and groundbreaking in so many different ways. I think that they've always been trying to chase the lightning in a bottle. You know, they've always wanted to have something that is extra on the end. Like Halloween 1 had that extra thing to it that solidified it in American culture and redefined a slasher genre. It really did. And they wanted to have something like that going forward with Halloween 4 and 5. The problem is they just dropped the ball and a bottle rocket went right in their taint hole. Look, Michael Myers, like, you don't have to overthink it, right?
Michael Myers is dead.
Michael Myers is dead. He is. You don't have to overthink it. Like, he's a very simple character to write. He's a very, and I'm not saying the story's simplistic. I'm just saying he's a very simple character of why he is scary. He's scary because he doesn't have a motivation. He doesn't have supernatural powers, at least that you're not aware of. Like, he doesn't have over-the-top fucking Charles Xavier goddamn X-Men powers. Like, he keeps coming no matter what you throw at him. He's scary because of that reason. Yeah. He's a very easy character to write, and what all these writers, man, and I really wish I could have been on Fly on the Wall back when Halloween 4 was being written and Halloween 5, because they overthink such a fucking simple character to make awesome and scary that, and the book even mentions, it wasn't until Halloween 2018 that it finally got back to what Michael Myers was supposed to be.
Nobody wanted this. Nobody wanted this idea, and I'm really glad that even though it was a last second pivot to switch it up, and even though we got the Halloween 5 that we got, there was so many, and that's why to me this is the funnest franchise to cover, is because there were so many chances for them to do some crazy left field shit that who knows where the fuck the franchise would have gone if they had done it.
But I feel like they got so in love with the idea, we gotta have a twist ending. It was the M. Night Shyamalan effect before the M. Night Shyamalan effect.
It goes back in the 80s in the slasher time. Nobody respected slasher movies. This writer himself said he didn't respect them. He sees it as almost a stain on his resume that even worked on it. They didn't respect it. They just wanted to throw some shit on there, and they want to act like they're above it, yet they wrote some of the worst ideas for it. And I hate to see that, but I'm really glad that the cause and everybody pivoted. Even though we got Halloween 5, I'm glad they pivoted. But again, check out Taking Shape 2. It's got some great ideas. Yeah. I'm sure we'll do other videos covering the stuff. It's an awesome read. You guys can get a discount on this beautiful titanium bottle of delicious water down in the box below. So make sure
your wiener hole go like this.
Ooh, squeeze it. Also, make sure you guys check out Taking Shape 2. We'll have more videos coming out about it, but you definitely want to see it for yourself. We left some stuff out just so you guys can check it out. It's totally worth the read. It's an awesome read. It's an awesome job. We love your fucking faces. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham in you. Erwin, you blinds.
Bring it in your face and put it down your throat.
Here comes that white-faced fucker, an asshole like no other. He's a big old piece of shit. Wants to stab your sister's tits cause he's a white-faced fucker. Loomis can't recover. Dr. Challenge drunk again, sleeping with your sister's friends.
Do you want to know about the darkness?
I said, God damn.
God damn you, faggot!
I said, God damn.
A lot of people don't know the darkness that goes inside their hearts.
I said, God damn.